I've just recorded my last video and realised I forgot something pretty important, which is showing the insides of these two to you people. So yeah, let's just go with it. We've got these winders, plastic ones. This is the Herweg, I believe it's Herweg, champion one here. These have to, yeah, I think these don't have to come off. And we have the singular screw up here, which I assume holds it on like that, and I've never seen one with a slot like this at the top. Oh wait, this is loose, isn't it? That's loose. Weird. There's no supposed to be that loose. And what is this? I've got no idea what that is on there. Can you see that? It's like a sort of bizarre coloured thingy. No idea what that is. But here we have it. I actually know what a Herweg movement already looks like, thanks to fellow YouTuber Tommy Wiley, who had a Herweg plastic travel alarm clock, which is sort of sideways, but it had the same movement as this, and based on it seems to be the only Herweg movement out there. I concluded this one also had it, so no shock to see this particular movement. But as he said, all the parts inside are made of plastic, apart from the great wheel and alarm wheel and balance wheel. Now his was dated 1987, but this one appears to have a number stamped on the plates, which is 1292, which means this is probably made in 1992, which could be one of the latest, if not the latest alarm clock in my collection, or youngest anyway. But they still make them to this day, probably in the same way. Now this looks pretty good, so I don't think I'll ever service this, because it looks like a pain as well. The plastic pin in there, and I don't see anything. These aren't going to wear out pretty anytime soon. But yeah, I don't see any sign of wear, and it's running very well. I usually do that. I usually service an alarm clock even if it is running like this. However, this one's just so young. It's like, it's like a third of the age of the ones I usually work on, that it hasn't really suffered much at all. If you really wanted to see a video of me trying to service this thing, I'll be happy to do that, but just let me know, because otherwise, it's not going to be the most enjoyable thing, because I like old, clunky, robust stuff, and not fiddly plastic. As we know, based on the season videos, which I didn't find very fun to record at all, because the movement was an absolute hog to repair. But we have here. Oh, that's something I do need to do, is adjust the alarm, but I won't do that today, because I'm just going through them very slowly, and very quickly, not slowly. Ooh. And here we have the MOM. I was going to do one video on each, but I realised, you know what, let's do them both. I'll put a video called Inside the Black Champion and the Yellow Mom, and hope people understand what I'm talking about. And I assume we just unscrew these winders. You can tell a mom clock by the winders, because they always have these winders on them. Very distinctive shape, and they're pretty common clocks actually, not this particular model, but mom clocks in general are pretty common. You can see the keys everywhere, and they're not uncommon in this country at all. Why is this? Oh, the spring's gone, isn't it? So I can't unscrew that. Any solutions? Let's try the old. Oh, I'll be turning it the wrong way anyway. Let's try the old flicker jack method, where you use power of flick to unscrew a key in minimal time. I don't think this is unscrewing it at all, it's just backing, it's just doing that. Alright. I'm not sure how I'm going to unscrew this key, so give me 1 minute. Right, okay, some real unruly tactic. But what I did was actually unscrew the screws in the back of here, so I could find a gap in there, and I poked my screwdriver in. I found the old alarm click ratchet wheel, jam my screwdriver up against it so I could finally undo this. And it was really like, you know, it's almost like a Bayard situation. Remember the blue Bayard? And I think it's just turning around again, isn't it? Maybe I need to loosen a bit more. Because that required me to actually open the clock up in order to undo the key. Because the spring was gone or something like that. Okay, now it's... it should be coming off. Yep. Whew. So, yeah. Yes, that's what I thought it was. These movements, these mom movements, are, in my opinion, good and bad at the same time. They are good quality. They are bad serviceability. I'm trying to put my hand backwards right now. It's so dirty. The spring's just gone. But yeah. One thing I love about these is they actually put pins holding the. I don't know why this one's covered in blue paint, but they put pins holding the dial for the movement. Unlike twisted tabs, which many, I suppose, companies who actually put more money into the clocks than this did, which is not a nice thing. But yes, we've got taper pins, which means we can do that an infinite amount of times without worrying about breaking anything, and it's much more secure. The bad thing about these is that, you know, they are. I've only ever had one successful time with one of these movements, and I've been through a lot of them. It's because the springs are very powerful, but the movement's very small and it's very fiddly. And it was very, very annoying to try and keep everything like, keep it all in there, because, you know, unless you got a load of spring clamps which are different sizes, which you probably would have if you were a professional, unlike me, yeah, it's just a pain. And I think it's a good opportunity for me to show how frustrating these are, and maybe get over that and find a better method than the one I previously used, because I haven't touched one of these movements in so long. So this will be a series. This clock here will be a series, and you can see it has MOM on there, so you know it's a mom movement, and you know what you're getting yourself into. And the bell, there's no bell, it just hits a little tab welder to the back of it. This is not, oh, it actually went back together. I'm not going to put that key in again. Instead, I will just bolt it up like that. Like whatever I'm trying to do anyway. And yeah. Yeah, you get the gist of it. I'll bolt this up in my own time. Anyway, thanks for watching. And yeah, beware the mom. You only service one of these if you really think, you know what, I'm up for a challenge. If you're thinking, oh, let's just try and service a clock for the fun of it, do not try one of those. Please take my word for it. Instead, try a good old Smith's alarm. Or Smith alarm. Great movements, great to service, reliable, and nice. Good quality. Not the same can be said for many other things. Serviceability is the main benefit to these. They're very, very fun and easy to do, and I recommend them. If you're going to service an alarm clock to get yourself into, and you are from the UK or something, or you are not, but you still have these Smith's alarms, then get one. Take it apart, put it back together again, and it's going to be the best time you've ever had in your life. Literally, it's just so good. My first ever purchase was a Smith's alarm, and I realised there's one on my shelf that I didn't pick up to show the aluminium dial demonstration, but it does indeed have an aluminium dial, and it is the first alarm clock I've ever bought, and it is a Smith's alarm with a wooden surround, and I'm sure you've seen it before on this channel. Anyway, oh yeah,